In the year 476 CE, the mighty Roman Empire, once a beacon of civilization, was crumbling. Picture this, a sprawling empire that stretched from the windswept hills of Britain to the sun-drenched shores of North Africa, now facing chaos and decline. So what led to the fall of this colossal empire? Buckle up, because it's a wild ride through economic turmoil, barbarian invasions, political corruption, and a shocking end that changed history forever. First, let's talk about the economy. Imagine living in a time when coins are losing their value faster than you can spend them. That's right, inflation was rampant. The Roman economy relied heavily on slave labor, and as conquest slowed down, so did the influx of new slaves. Without fresh resources, the economy began to deteriorate. Farmers struggled, taxes skyrocketed, and people were left wondering where their next meal would come from. The once bustling marketplaces fell silent, and the heart of the empire began to beat slower and slower. Now, while the economy was collapsing, here came the barbarians. The Visigoths, Vandals, and others weren't just sitting around waiting for an invitation, they were on the move. In 410 CE, the Visigoths famously sacked Rome itself, a moment that sent shockwaves through the empire. Imagine the horror of watching your city burn while invaders roamed the streets. The Vandals followed suit in 455 CE, plundering and causing even more destruction. These weren't just minor skirmishes, they represented a major shift in power. The once feared Roman legions were now a shadow of their former selves, unable to fend off these aggressive tribes. But wait, there's more. While the empire was under siege, Rome's leadership was falling apart. Political corruption ran rampant, with emperors more interested in lining their pockets than protecting their people. Weak leaders took the throne, often propped up by dubious alliances. The Senate, once a symbol of Roman strength, became a stage for betrayal and backstabbing. Decisions were made not for the good of the empire, but for personal gain. It was like a reality TV show, but the stakes were much higher. As if that wasn't enough, the empire was split into two halves in the late 3rd century, the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. The East, with its capital in Constantinople, thrived and became a center of trade and culture. Meanwhile, the West was left to fend for itself, plagued by economic decline and constant invasions. It was like watching two siblings grow up, one thriving while the other struggles to survive. The division further weakened the Western Empire, making it even more vulnerable to outside threats. Now let's get to the climax of our story, the deposition of Romulus Augustulus. In 476 CE, this young emperor, often regarded as the last Roman emperor of the West, was at his wit's end. He was just a teenager, and the reality of his reign was grim. The Germanic chieftain Odoacer marched into Rome an unstoppable force. No grand battle, no heroic last stand, just a young emperor forced to surrender. Odoacer took control, declaring himself king and sending Romulus into obscurity. This was not just the end of a ruler, it was the final nail in the coffin for the Western Roman Empire. So there you have it. The fall of the Roman Empire wasn't just one event, it was a perfect storm of economic collapse, barbarian invasions, political corruption, and a division that left the West vulnerable. From a thriving empire to a shadow of its former glory in just a few short decades. The echoes of Rome's fall still resonate today, reminding us of the fragility of power and the ever-changing tides of history. What a tale of rise and fall.